We're back, people, and today we're working on film on Patrick Paul, Miami Dolphins rookie, left tackle right here. He played majority of this game with Armstead going out early, and, I think he really got to flash his potential, especially in the run game. You can just see, he's got great physical tools, but you can just see the athleticism and power on display, which I think helps because Dolphins really haven't had much of that, especially once Austin Jackson went down. Guys that can go out there, hit your reach blocks, do that type of thing. Paul still has some things to work on, I think, with polish and stuff like that. Like, technique overall can be a little bit cleaner, but I think he's shown improvements from that since college. And then I think, his biggest thing is just angles, getting his angles in the run game and then getting to his correct landmarks, like he oversets in pass protection. So, and those are things that I think can be worked upon. So it is nice to see some impressive plays out there. There was definitely negative ones, too, so it wasn't, a perfect performance, but you can definitely see the potential be flashed in this game. There's just sometimes he has some, I think, mental mistakes when it comes to exactly where he needs to be on the play, some blocks that are potentially missed. So we'll see the good, the bad in this game on these plays. So play number one, just down in the red zone, just creating some displacement. The Dolphins have struggled up front, especially at guard, to create any displacement. I think it's hurt them on these short yardage runs. But as you can see here with a 4-eye straight up on him, look at him just dig him out and then keep this leg drive. He's able to sustain this block. He's, straining. You can tell with his upper body, he's got high hand, low hand, and he's just driving this leg, basically driving this pile, helping Achane get in to there. So love that. And he gets super hyped after the play. I feel like this is something the Dolphins just need. I think going next year, if the O-line is, say Armstead retires and your O-line will be Patrick Paul, Austin Jackson, they're going to have some, problems at times in pass protection, but they will bring some physicality and athleticism to the running game. And the Dolphins can scheme their way around pass protection. So if you had some physical guards, I think the O-line could really improve from that standpoint, creating some displacement, because Brewer's done a good job overall this season. But like this rep from Paul, from his ability to his strain, sustain, and then drive, create displacement, help even push your guy into the end zone. Love that rep out of him. Also, this ability to reach, and that's an impressive rep that I just feel like we haven't seen out of the tackles much this season. Obviously, Armstead can do the impressive athleticism stuff. So, he's the one of the few guys that can, but, we don't see this often where, you have to, hard reach. This guy's playing in wide 9. You have to hard go outside of him, get your hips and face across his face and hips, and actually sustain it. I feel like a lot of times when the O-linemen, specifically the guards, try to do this, they don't sustain these blocks. And then also, I think Kendall Lamb had a good game in this game, so I'll give him credit there, but he struggled to do that since coming for Austin Jackson. But that ability to stray and sustain, pretty good hands, pretty good base, and then keep his feet driving, just allowed Jalen Wright to capture the edge on this toss play here. Pretty impressive, pretty close to actually, hitting a big one if we were able to get hands on that linebacker. But pick up a nice 5-yard gain on the play. Just good reps in the running game from Patrick Paul, whether it's just at the point of attack, in some gap scheme, maybe duo stuff where you have to drive, down block, base block, that type of thing, or you need to see him reach, hook, maybe kick out. Those are all things that I think he's capable of. And then he definitely, I think that's probably where he's been most comfortable, I would say, on reps like this, including the preseason, and then on the snaps he's played in the regular season, which was mainly the Titans game in this game. So nice to see that. I think in pass protection, it was a little more hit or miss, but I think he had some nice reps. Here, one-on-one, true pass set, one-on-one. Dolphins don't always do this a ton, but they've been kind of doing this more and more, and I think he has a nice rep here against Hassan Reddick. Maybe a little false step with his feet, but you can tell him staying patient. Even though he still is going very wide with his hands, I think this is just what he likes to do. He feels comfortable with it, gives up his chest. Even doing that, he's still able to show a nice anchor, doesn't get pushed back very much, then get much better with his base, knee bend here. His hands are still a little bit wide, but just solid rep there. Contain, sustain that, don't allow him to pressure up the pocket too much. Yeah, just a quality rep here. I think this is one of my favorite reps he had in pass protection, is passing off this twist right here. So boom, you can see first step out of his, into his pass set here. Pretty explosive. He stays under control. I think he's playing with more under control, because sometimes he would fire out and get too far off upfield. And then he also wouldn't play with good bend. I feel like he's playing with pretty good bend here. He's playing with good knee bend, not leaning too far over the top with his chest. And then this guy works to the inside, You can see him use that offhand to the inside to, help counter that. And then show the athleticism to get back to the inside, pass it off, use his hands well here too. Use his hands and then have his eyes ready to find the new loop guy. Just impressive work staying under control. I feel like this is one of the most impressive reps I've seen him have versus stun up front. Very good job staying under control. I think, getting him some live reps in those situations definitely help. Winning one-on-one at point of attack. I feel like in pass protection, like Hassan Reddick did give him some troubles at time, but we saw, good rep there. 72, I believe, is Clemens. Really didn't give him any troubles in these situations. He was very willing to just get up on him, not creating much of a push. Good anchor, just get hands on, not allowing them to escape. And that's on the game winner here to Janu, with him getting one-on-one. And they had a true pass set. Like, Tua's got to go through his reads. He's holding on to the ball longer than usual here, and the O-line does a pretty good job across the board, especially Patrick Paul in that situation. He'll ride you to the outside. I feel like this is where he's more comfortable, because he has the athleticism, he has the length to really just ride you past the pass rusher. Like, even if you try to hit him low, bend around the corner, he has the range to just carry you past. I think sometimes he will overset, when he does struggle in pass protection, it's more so with the guys that work back to the inside. He has the recovery ability, but sometimes he just needs to work on his landmarks in pass protections in those scenarios. But up front, he'll create some displacement, here, boom, down blocking on these gap scheme runs. Just move this guy out of the way and sustain it. I feel like this is somewhere they've just struggled. It's nothing too crazy, but he does his job. If it's just blocked up a little bit better by Eichenberg in this situation, they probably actually gained some yards where he could hit up through here, because everything else is getting blocked up, sustained there. Julian Hill would get up to the linebacker. It was just a play that got blown up elsewhere. But Paul was kind of, doing his job. Here he gets one-on-one with Quinnen Williams. Quinnen Williams getting control of the point of attack. But it's not as, usually if you see Quinnen Williams in this situation versus one of the Dolphins guards, he's going to get stacked, shed, thrown to the side. Paul, a little bit harder to move out of the way. He's helping drive a little bit there. And then once, Achane makes his read to cut this way, Quinn is trying to get off of it, but he's not able to just shed and toss Paul super easily. He doesn't get off of it until Achane's already pretty much past him. And then he's able to, get upfield. Almost probably could have had a touchdown here if he didn't trip over Malik. Because Achane stays on his feet. He probably has enough momentum to get into the end zone. Maybe he gets, a little bit short. But if he stays on his feet there, decent chance of getting into the end zone. I think Paul does a pretty good job here, considering that he's going against, a Quinnen Williams, who's absolutely dominant. Great player. Here, Paul does a decent job recovering, but it's the example of, versus the wide nine, sometimes he just oversets, gets far to the outside. You want to maintain a half-man relationship with an edge guy. So, you want to be, your inside half, with his midsection. So, you want to maintain that half-man relationship. But then he gets too far overset here, gets even with him, and now he breaks to the inside. Now, Hassan kind of slips, but Paul does a good job at least recovering to, get back to it, finish, push him to the ground. But this is a problem I think I've seen Paul have, in college. It happened in preseason. Also happened in the Titans game, just oversetting in those situations. And fortunately, that guy, he was, losing his balance anyways before that. But just an area to keep note of, I think, with Paul. But yeah, he wins the outside, gets control very quickly. He didn't have really any problems with any of the other edge defenders besides Reddick, which, makes sense. It's always nice to see, versus the lesser guys out there, maybe you're not struggling as much, but he just gets control very quickly. Even when they were trying to get low on him, he has good anchor, good power. They try to get that leverage. I like that he plays with some knee bend. He is bending at the waist a lot, but I mean that's kind of just what's going to happen when you're, a little bit taller, which he's got some real size to him. Even with not perfect technique, guys lower in leverage than him, he doesn't get pushed back very much because he's got some good core strength, good anchor ability. And then there's just some of the poor reps, right here. His job is to basically, you got to rip underneath this guy because he's supposed to be cracked back. You got to get upfield. I think he just takes a poor angle initially. He's trying to, get upfield to 36. But since where this guy's aligned, you got to be able to get upfield and then rip underneath this guy, which he doesn't. So he gets slowed down there, so he's not able to get up to his block. Then takes a poor angle, and now he's just late to see it. Almost even runs into his running back at that point. not getting exactly where he needs to be. This kind of happened a couple times throughout the game. It is a tough ask, but that's one where it's on him. This one's a little more, I would say, just like here he does his job, get hands on 94, push him down the line, and then find the guy working across. Usually this would just be like you cutting off a linebacker, him being asked to pretend like because the linebackers are way out of the play. Him being asked to cut off this DB is a super tough ask. I think Tyreek could have played it better if Tyreek showed more patience. He could have allowed Patrick Paul a better chance to get hands on. It's just a great play with the DB, but like if Paul was able to just get anything on this guy, like literally just one hand for a split second, Dolphins would have picked up a first down. They didn't pick up a first down in this play. I just think, I think Tyreek actually played this kind of bad because he was trying to hit this hard. If he just showed little hesitation right there, just a little bit, maybe that he would go back to the inside, which he also could have cut back to the inside. Just a missed opportunity, I think, for the Dolphins as a team. But I just think, when it comes to the second level climbing, like Paul has the athleticism, and I've seen this on the screen game. I've seen this, a couple plays now where he has to climb. This time he actually gets underneath. He doesn't get hands on the edge. He rips through it, gets to the next level on 56. He starts to break down, but 56 just, avoids him, gets around him. He misses that block out in space. So I just think angles and getting hands on guys out in space is something that he needs to work on for sure, like in his game. Like he'll go out there. I like when the Dolphins do this off the play action. They slide their whole thing. They allow him to get more aggressive with his sets. I think that it just makes life easier on the offensive lineman. And now he's just good, like good base, good knee bend, like good upper body, better hand placement. I mean, he still will have, I think, some holding calls just because of where his hands are at times. But just good job sustaining. And he also is like finishing the block. Because like, look when this guy, he has complete control of the situation, blocking for a while. Now he tries to work back to the inside. Love his like aggressiveness and trying to finish this guy and pushing him out of the way. That's something that I can appreciate about Paul. And then here just kicking his guy out, creating some displacement, and then finish his block to the ground. So, maybe want to see him some more initial displacement off the ball here, kick his guy out, but he sticks with it. He sustains, he gets a little help, but he finishes that block. That's always nice to see when you have someone who's finishing, putting guys on the ground. Those are good plays. I think they need more of that from offensive linemen, so that's like a good sign going into future seasons with Paul. And Paul might have to play. Who knows what's going on with Armstead? Paul might have to play the rest of this season, which might not be, a bad thing. It'd probably be a good thing for him specifically going into next year, especially knowing what you're going to have. So if you need to like potentially pick someone up, like if everyone does, like Kendall Lamb's retiring, if Armstead retires, like you're going to have to pick up at least a swing tackle. But it'd be nice to know if like you need to pick up someone who's like more starter caliber. But definitely flashed his potential in this game. Still has his issues and needs that need to be worked out, ironed out, polished, that type of thing. But overall, there's good signs to work with. I think from a lot of the rookie class, like we've seen how good Chop is over these past few weeks, and I think a lot of their guys we've definitely seen the flashes. Like we've seen flashes from Jalen Wright, seen flashes from Malik, who had a big play in this game. So you guys really much like comment and subscribe to the